Yippee!
Super Squad D. And that's Tyler Bullock. And best friend, Joseph Craven. Here on the show. Ben Affleck. Okay.
That right there is former NBA player World Be Free.
And this right here is famous Globetrotter Joseph Craven.
That's it.
It's a real thing.
That's really it, yeah.
And you're watching Super Squad D, where the D stands for
Dialogue.
discussion.
No dialogue.
Oh, I thought it was delays because of how long it took us to get this show going.
Yeah, we've had some
That was unbelievable.
interesting issues. So some of the equipment that we use, the producer was explaining this to us.
There's no producer.
Yeah. So some of the equipment that we use is really finicky and does not want to, I don't know, be read by...
It is very finicky.
Yeah.
Very extremely finicky, and we apologize.
Yeah. So this has been an interesting setup process, but we are here now and starting a few minutes later than normal, which is okay because we're
flexible. We'll just roll with it.
We'll just roll.
We just roll.
We'll have an episode that goes later than normal.
The people want. It's
yeah,
totally
the people know what the people want. The people know.
Carlos, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Fernando, I'm sorry. I was standing for far too long. You got Attack on Louis here. And, of course, M. Scotter with pointing out how enthusiastic that intro was. It was pretty fantastic.
Scott was, of course, there on Twitch. We're trying to watch on Twitch, but due to some of the mistakes, and well, not mistakes, some of the frustrations that we had to switch to just YouTube. So the quality's dipped a little bit. You know,
it's okay.
Whatever. We don't have the live chat above our heads like we
That's
normally
okay.
do.
We'll have that back next week.
Right. Exactly.
Because this guy can make it happen. I'm talking about you.
I don't do a single thing.
You don't do anything.
That's our production team.
There's no team.
Yep.
There's no I-in team. I'll tell you that much right now. Because I don't do jack crap.
There's no production in I. Okay, so...
How's everybody doing tonight?
It's good to have everyone back again.
It is.
It has been a little bit.
It's been a hot minute. Just a one hot minute.
Just a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Fernando's pointing out that there's a sweet Dragon Zord there.
Fernando totally hooked me up with this, and it's been that long that I've had this, and we haven't done a live show yet. That's how long it's been. It's quite disappointing.
You touched it. I can actually see there was just a little bit of dust on top of the box.
Isn't that just depressing? That's how long it's been since we've done a live show.
What's wrong with it?
We had work, and then I got the flu, and then it was all just kind of insane.
Yeah, yeah.
This is an amazing Dragon Zord. Thank you, Fernando.
It is a good one.
You make my dreams come true.
I thought you were about to start singing Biz Marquee. You had what I need. Anyway, so obviously there's a lot going on. There's
so much
in Nerd World
so
right
much
now.
has happened. Even today.
Even just today. So we've got so much to talk about.
God,
and we want to hear everyone's opinions on everything. Mm-hmm. And in the midst of that, we're going to have some casual unboxings to mix things up.
I've even got my handy dandy Patrick Bernansky Super Squad D. Beransky Super Squad D.
We should have had our own cable show by now. You'd think with the production budget that we put into this show.
I don't want to brag, but we've been approached by almost nobody.
Yeah.
But
I would say very much nobody.
But we would certainly, I think, both be open to a 2:30 a.m. time slot on PBS.
Yeah.
Totally.
We got no problems with that.
I'll take it.
You DVR, right?
Everyone DVRs these days. If you got an official DVR.
All right, so some of the important things that we have to talk about. First and foremost, Super Squad Depressing. Love you, Beto. Beto hooked me up with a sweet Blade Runner glass from Alamo.
Well, I'm glad he could hook somebody up with that.
You haven't even seen the movie yet.
No, but the glass was cool.
So I never got around to seeing Blade Runner 2, that's what I'm going to call it.
Is it still in theaters?
Because I kept waiting for him to watch the first one so we could go together, and he never did.
Is it still in theaters?
Maybe some.
We'll go this week if it is.
I'm really busy, man. Okay.
Jeez.
Hey, we mentioned it last time around, but last live episode, whenever that was,
year ago?
May, yeah, I think it was a full year ago. But we're gonna do book club 2 because everything kind of fell by the wayside at first. But
Everything.
book club 2, where we're talking about Flash Rebirth, and I believe we should aim to do that the last week of November.
Let's do it.
Okay.
100% happening the last week of November, right after Thanksgiving.
Right after Thanksgiving. I'm going to check the dates there.
Check that date.
I'm going to pull up the old calendar app. And we're just going to pick, the general, let's see, Thanksgiving's on the 23rd. Great. We literally have the 27th through the 30th. I don't want to go into December. That's a Friday, December 1st. We'll pick a day there. Last week in November.
Happen.
Flash Rebirth.
I do have the Spider-Man Homecoming glass, and it is fantastic. Beto did hook me up with that.
See?
He did.
All right, so there we go. That's kind of the announcements that we have to get out of the way.
That's it. That was a little house cleaning. Housekeeping, house cleaning.
That's both work in this
We're ready
situation.
To go. We're ready to
Boom.
go.
Let's talk about the biggest news in comics right now, that Brian Michael Bending Rodriguez has jumped
Look
ship.
at this. I've got my 2 Bendis omnibus that will never be finished. We got Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 and New Avengers Volume 1. We're never getting to Volume 2.
Nope.
What do you guys think? Do you think Marvel will not publish his stuff now? Now that he's leaving, do you think that they're that bitter about it? And should they be that bitter about it?
I mean, I wouldn't think they would be. Beto does say the end of November 2018. Maybe. It wouldn't make any sense from a business perspective to be that bitter, right?
Yeah.
That they would not publish what he has left. I don't know how much he has left that he's written. I assume it's, a little while in advance.
He's definitely one of the more popular omnibus publishers because they really like him.
So you're talking about whether they'll make more Bendis omnibus.
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I thought you just meant like whatever stories he was
he'll,
working on.
They'll finish out those for sure. But yeah, more Bendis omnibus. I don't know. I mean, okay, regardless of how you feel about Bendis, we'll get to him in a second.
Because he's a polarizing
He is very
writer.
polarizing. We'll get to him in a second. But from the Marvel standpoint, I think this is just such a... does Marvel need more confirmation that they are losing all of their good talent?
Right.
I don't, whether or not you like Bendis, he was a big talent at Marvel.
Right. Maybe if you aren't willing to say big talent, a big name.
Yeah, he was a big name. He was a big name at Marvel. And yeah, that's true. Louis says they kept publishing Hickman stuff after he left.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point.
Yeah, he's not, he's exclusive to DC, so we're not getting any more new stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But as far as the Omnis go, you got to think that if it's one of those that they know they're going to make money off of, they're going to put it out there.
I hope they will. I genuinely do.
The Super Squad D call-in lawyer.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's actually our producer. Lawyer during the day, TV show producer at night.
So yeah. So to me, it's like I think this is just like the last big indication that Marvel.
There's something going on.
You have to wake up. You have to get good creators and keep them, and that just means you have to pay them. It just translates. I'm assuming to dollars. I don't know why else creators would not want to work at Marvel other than just the straight money. The money's not good, and they can make more money somewhere else.
Quote the great Randy Moss. Straight cash, homie. So
that was actually a good accent too. A great Randy Moss accent.
Yeah, Randy Moss has such a unique accent. I love it.
Good.
Straight cash. So this is what I think, though. Okay, Marvel obviously right now is doing one thing particularly well as far as finances go. What is that?
Movies. For sure.
What's something that DC has been heavily criticized about?
Movies.
So DC is probably thinking, hey, you know what? We're not gaining ground as quickly in movies. Maybe we can steal some of that comic talent.
Yeah.
And really, leverage our position there where Marvel might be overlooking, their first love, really, that what their big moneymaker at first. That's what I'm kind of thinking is that maybe this is a power play, an attempt at a power play.
I totally agree. This is a total dick move to Marvel. Just a straight punch in the dick. Come on. If there's anything you could do to Marvel as DC, it would be to take their one last and biggest name.
Since everyone else is gone already.
And they did it.
They did it.
I'm sure I would love to see the contract that Bendis got for this, because I'm sure there are dollars out the butt. Because Bendis was treated really well at Marvel. Like, I'm sure they paid him well because
they let
kept
him
for
write
so long.
whatever he wanted to write.
Yeah, he had the pick of the litter. He had so much say and so much control over everything. I mean, it was a real good working job for him. So for him to go to DC,
there had to be a lot of incentive.
There had to be a lot of incentive.
A lot of incentive there. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me. And another thing about it is that, and what makes this so big is that, of course, like, I'm a casual comic reader. Like, I don't collect. I haven't really actively read a lot of ongoing storylines as of late. The fact that I recognize how big this is, and the fact that I recognize how many of the names that I know are not at Marvel anymore. I mean, what are some of the other big names that have left in the last few years? I mean, you've got...
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
You don't want to name any... No specifics? Okay.
Let's see. Who is left? I'm trying to think of, like... I mean, you used to have talent like... I mean, for, Joss Whedon did the Astonishing X-Men run, but you had, like, Brian K. Vaughan, who did some stuff. I mean, pretty much Hickman, all of the big... Mark Miller.
Because I'm also thinking about, like, Brubaker and all. Because Brubaker went independent.
Yeah, so all of the guys who are huge and independent now have all ditched Marvel. And a lot of them have ditched DC, but DC has managed to pick up some really stellar talent as well.
Is this the first time that one of those big names hasn't decided to go independent with it and has actually just jumped to the other side?
It's definitely not the first, but I'm trying to think of the last one. Like, I can't remember a time when this has happened in recent days. Someone could help me out in the chat.
Beto does want to point out that Jason Aaron is still there.
He is still there. And
I don't know anything about Jason Aaron.
He's the one who writes, like, the female Thor book, which gets a lot of praise. Yeah. He's written Wolverine. He's written a bunch of good stuff. I never thought of Jason Aaron as, like, the top tier writer, but he certainly has to be the biggest name Marvel has now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who else would be as big of a name.
And this is another thing that Fernando just brought up that I really like. He's talking about Chip Zdarsky, who apparently
he's crushing it.
Some people have decided that I look like Chip Zdarsky. I don't get it.
I can dig it.
You know what? It's because we're white dudes with beards.
Yeah.
And pretty much as soon as a white dude grows a beard, you can't tell who any of us are.
That's true.
But I think this is something, Fernando, that Marvel might be trying to bank on some of those other writers, those kind of up-and-coming writers like Chip, like Ryan North, for example. Guys like that.
Ryan North is amazing.
Kind of the more quirky, weird writers that they have. Maybe they're trying to bank on some of those guys coming up.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. And I would like to see... I mean, I think for Marvel, their goal right now is twofold. Hire well-known writers and promote their in-house writers who are really good to star status, like Chip. Like, the guys who are really crushing it, who are unknown. Rick Remender was another one who left. Take those guys and promote them within and be like, hey, you're the new face of Marvel. That's what I think. You look like Chris Hemsworth. That's a bold-faced lie.
I actually do get Liam Hemsworth every now and then. Yeah, and I'm always just like...
I'll take it.
I'll take that any day. I mean, you're wrong, but thank you.
Mark Waid. Yeah, that was another one. Is Mark Waid still at Marvel? No.
Yeah,
did he just leave Marvel, or is he still there? He might still be.
You talking about still being there? Or are you talking about just?
He's definitely a named writer, top tier. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on Bendis? Do you like Bendis? Do you not like Bendis?
Yeah, are you asking me right now?
I mean, anyone watching?
I haven't read much of his stuff. Well, I mean, I guess I have, without necessarily realizing that it was like, I was getting into it because of him, that sort of thing, And he is one of those guys that just, as we have made jokes about already, he's a dialogue guy.
Man, he is.
He's a dialogue guy, and that can really bog you down just a little bit. That's one of the reasons I really liked, for example, I really fell in love with the moment I read anything that Matt Fraction wrote. Yeah. Because he was much more simplistic. Yeah. And the story was really told. And, of course, that also comes down to what artist you're working with. And if you're working with a good artist who can tell a story through the artwork itself and not always just the dialogue that you have written. Bendis tries to direct the storyline himself. Okay. And it seems like maybe not give the artist as much liberty to tell the story like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know his personality. He could not be like that at all, but...
Will points out that Wade is on Captain America now. That's right. I had totally forgotten about that. I felt like he wasn't gone from Marvel. So him and Aaron have to be the biggest two names at Marvel now. I mean, they have to be.
They're gonna make an offer to Jeff Johns that he can't refuse. What do you think about that move? If that worked out?
If they did, that would be a huge shakeup because Jeff Johns has a massive creative position at DC. Will he thinks it's good. They're old news and old guard, and I totally agree with that. I for one am not upset that he's leaving Marvel. I would consider myself I'm probably 60-40 from Marvel to DC. Like I really like DC, but my heart leans a little bit more towards Marvel. I've never been a big Bendis fan. Like for the longest time, I was the only guy I knew before really getting online a bunch that didn't like Bendis. All my friends made fun of me. Everyone else was like, Bendis is so great, his stuff's so great. And I was one of the only people who was like, I don't think he's that great. He's not a bad writer.
I used to say it to you all the time. I never read anything he did, didn't know what we were talking about, but I was like, I'm going to try to make you mad.
It worked every time. Ultimate Spider-Man was fantastic. I loved it, at least for the first good bit. I felt like his Daredevil run was okay. I didn't think it was that great. And some of his recent stuff I've just not super enjoyed. But I agree with you, Will. I think that, to me, that's the biggest thing. He seems to have gotten really complacent, and Marvel seems to have gotten complacent with him, potentially. And I think this is the shakeup that Marvel needs. I think it's good for Marvel for this to happen. I think it will wake them up in a lot of ways, and I think it will cause them to promote within and all that other stuff we talked about. Likewise, I think it's really good for Bendis as a writer as well. I mean, I think that he's written some good stuff. I mean, people like his writing. It's not that they don't like his writing, and I don't think he's necessarily super sloppy or completely complacent, but I think that hopefully for him, this will open up a new passion and new stories that he's really wanted to tell. Because certainly if he's worked at Marvel for so long, like if you're in the industry, whether you're a writer or an artist, you certainly have ideas for the other companies you're not working for.
Anyone is going to get tired. You know, it could be the same for, you watch anything on TV. If it goes too long, it just goes too long.
Yeah.
You know, anyone's going to get tired of working with the same characters all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, you're fine, whatever. It's very rare, just right in the middle of my sentence.
In the middle.
It's very rare to have someone that can take the same characters and really do well with them for years and years and years. And you see it in some instances, some of the like more genius level writers.
Yeah.
I even think about American Splendor, right? The comic that the guy in Cleveland has, wrote for, 30-something years or whatever. That it's that sort of thing. That's rare.
Yeah.
It's rare that someone... So I think this is... Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to be huge for him to have a lot more material, brand new material to work with. But my question is it good for DC? What do you think on that?
I don't know. I don't know if it's good for DC because DC, it's one of those things where on paper, I know it made sense from a business standpoint to like get at Marvel and hurt Marvel probably, but everything is working so well at DC right now. I don't know, where does he fit at DC? Because when you hire a big writer like Bendis, it's not like, oh, we have an exclusive contract with Bendis. Here, write this one obscure monthly title. Like, they're going to use him a lot because they're paying for him out the butt. So,
I like the way you said that, by the way. There's something very nice about out the butt. It's like your voice dropped to a different level.
So, I don't know if it's a great move for DC because they're firing on so many cylinders right now. Like, who would Bendis... Okay, who do you guys think, anybody, you or you guys in the chat, who would you like to see Bendis on?
It's funny that you say that because Scott has just said that he'd like to see him write for Young Justice.
Yeah, I'll jump in with my picks because that's kind of along the lines of my picks. The characters I would like to see.
Before you get into that, I do want to give props to Will for summing up pretty well what I was trying to say as far as like his dialogue and running the show. He's a great character writer, but when you give him the keys to the whole kingdom, he can't rein himself in, and it's just meaningless. Yeah, that's really what I've experienced whenever I've tried to read anything that he's done, is that it comes down to, I'm like, he's doing a lot here. Yeah. He's doing way too much here.
Louis, we're going to get to your question in a second because it's awesome.
Yeah, that's a really good one. So
but what would I like to see him on? I think Teen Titans, Will says, Ultimate Nightwing. Yeah, I mean, I think the street level heroes and the teenage heroes, I mean, again, with Ultimate Spider-Man are really where he excels. So for me, the characters, my dream characters.
Okay.
I would be great with seeing him on a Young Justice or a Teen Titans, a Teen book. Teen Titans has not been good for a while.
I'm going to make you pick 5.
5
dream characters.
Okay.
I'm putting the pressure on you hard right now.
Okay, well, it's not that hard because I'm just going to straight take the Teen Titans, which was my thought. But
list them individually.
First place, I'd like to see Connor Kent. I want to see Connor Kent come to DC Rebirth. I want to see him back as Superboy. And I would like to see
Superboy?
Yeah, he's Superboy.
I thought that he was a frat brother of yours. That just kind of seems like a frat name to me.
Connor Kent. It's like a Dallas.
Yeah, like a dude named Dallas. Y'all know anyone named Dallas?
Because they probably suck.
Yeah.
But I would love to see him on a Superboy, Connor Kent. I would love to see him on a Tim Drake Robin. I would love to see that because I love Tim Drake. I think he'd be really good on that. I'd like to see him on Teen Titans, Young Justice, and then, let's throw just something totally random in there. Let's give just randomly Beast Boy his own comic. I'd like to see him flesh out the character of Beast Boy. I mean, I do think that Bendis has the ability to take these teen characters and make them really interesting and compelling, and it would be kind of cool for him to take an obscure character who's never really had the limelight in their own series for an extended period of time and run with it. But my first would definitely be Connor Kent.
Okay.
Followed by Tim Drake.
All right. Fernando thinks that the rumor he's heard is him writing a Batman Wonder Woman story.
Interesting. I don't really feel one way or the other. The only thing I have to say about Batman
that doesn't hit me at all.
Is Batman has been so good for the last little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, why screw that up? Mm-hmm. I mean, if he's not writing a main Batman title, I guess it doesn't really matter, but...
I'm with you on the idea, as Scott just pointed out. Really with you on the idea of a Beast Boy solo comic. That would be... I mean, even if he's not in charge of it, why don't we just have more Beast Boys?
Like I think Beast Boy is a very underrated character. He has a lot of complexity to him, and I think could make for a compelling individual comic book.
So yeah, that's the rumor. It seems to be Batman and Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's jump into Attack on Louise' question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Was a great good segue.
If you missed it, the question was, what do we think the future of single issue runs is? And that's something I've noticed. Okay, I'll let you gather your thoughts about it since you're the guy that actually, you've done this a lot. I mean, when did you start collecting single issues again? I mean, you were
in the 4th grade.
Yeah, 4th grade.
Oliver Hodge brought a Spider-Man comic to school.
Love you.
He's still alive.
He's up in the attic right now. He was doing some AC heating and cooling HVAC work for us.
And that's not even true.
But he's on the production team.
He's not. But he did bring me. He brought a Spider-Man comic and he alerted me to. He brought a pack of Daredevil by Frank Miller, like the origin, the retelling of the origin story that you could buy the entire 6 issue already packed up. For $1 at the Dollar Tree. He's like, you gotta go get this, dude. And I went and got it, and it changed my life.
The Dollar Tree.
Yeah, it's pretty
God bless it.
So, anyway.
Yeah, all right. So you've been at it for a long time, and I have not. I've been a much more casual reader over the years. And what I've noticed a lot, especially ever since doing this channel, what I've noticed is that for all of us that, our age, our generation that grew up with comics, we're all going omnis now, right? Yeah. That seems to be the thing. I don't know exactly how long ago that
collected editions.
Yeah, but collector's edition is the thing, and that's what we go for. And I don't know if the next generation really seems to be doing single issue comics quite as much on the same level that we would have when we were younger, or you would have in particular, but our generation did. It seemed like we got older, we became adults, and this is what we instantly went towards, was give us the, if not a hardcover, but at least a trade paperback. We're not interested in that anymore. And that seems to be so much of the market, from what I've noticed as a third-party observer, so much of the market right now is revolving entirely around those big collections more so than anything else. But what do you think is actually happening moving forward?
So it's a great question, and I've had this conversation with a few people. And, very recently, I had a conversation with someone who said, the comic industry is dead, single issues are dead.
Oliver Hodge, oddly enough, the guy who got you.
It's not Oliver Hodge. And I thought to myself, I wonder if that's true. So I did a little research, and it's hard to tell exactly the number of sales for comics, but you can go to, there's websites you can go to that will chart and give you a good estimation based on like how much comic shops are ordering, because the claim was that no one buys comics anymore.
Right.
And so I looked into it and I did a good bit of research, and what I found, interestingly enough, is for about the past 20 years, comic sales have roughly stayed the same overall.
Huh.
Now, that's fluctuated within the industry because independent books have gone up, some of the big two have gone down, and they've certainly shifted over the years, but actually single issues and overall comics have stayed roughly the same. And so while I don't see that changing anytime soon, and certainly as we move into a more digital era, I think, and I count digital, I guess it depends if you count digital sales as single issue sales, which I do. I count the person who buys a digital issue, whether it's on sale on Comixology or whether it's the day it comes out. I count that as a comic sale. And that's another discussion for another time. But I think that the single issue itself drastically changed about 20 years ago.
Okay.
Because prior to 20 years ago, the big trend for about a decade to a decade and a half before that was releasing single issues and a bunch of crossovers, and it was like, you get like Web of Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man and Adjective List, and it was like this big story, and it was kind of convoluted to keep up with, but for the most part, books just released one after another in sequential order, and sometimes stories were 2 issues, sometimes they were 1 issues, sometimes they were, long 12-issue story arcs. Now, what we have today...
I think Will is actually saying a lot of what you're saying in the chat, which is pretty
So
cool.
what we have today, and what I want to hit on back about, that really started in the late 90s and the early 2000s, was the idea of trade paperbacks. As they became more and more popular and they started printing them, what happened was the big companies went to their writers and said, hey, we're putting out these trades, we're making a lot of money off of it. More than just the single issues after they're coming out, or additional revenue past just the single issues. We want you to write stories in a way that they can be collected in a trade paperback. So instead of write a bunch of stories that take place over a bunch of different books, or that are really long, or that are not consistent, what you had was, in the late 90s and the early 2000s, you began to see these 6 to 8 issue story arcs. It'd be part 1 of 6, part 2 of 6, part 3 of 6, part 4 of 6, part 5 of 6.
Kind of a switch in the mentality that would be comparable to like writing a soap opera.
Yeah.
Where you're just trying to continue whatever you can to actually writing a complete miniseries.
Exactly.
Right?
So they began to write these stories in ways that could be collected in trade paperbacks. And I think that fundamentally changed the industry more than almost anything. And certainly we could look at like the different ages, like the Bronze Age, Silver Age, Heroic Age, Postmodern Age. Yeah, but I think that is such an interesting thing that we still see today. And I think that's kind of evolving as these collected editions and other things come out. I don't think that the 6-issue arc is going to be here forever. And I think we're already starting to see some change. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Here's a theory that I have, that I think this is the ultimate direction that we're going to really get into, especially considering some of the bigger artists that have established a name for themselves and then gone independent. That was kind of been a small trend of that recently. So much of what we're into these days has become much more crowdsourced. Yeah. Like we're on YouTube right now. When, we got into college, like YouTube was just starting up, right? It's not that old of a thing, but it's grown tremendously.
Right.
And now, Netflix is producing original content and, Hulu is producing original content. There's going to be a lot more of a breakaway in most media. I mean, look at the success of Macklemore, Chance the Rapper, independent musicians that are winning Grammys, I think you're going to see that happen a lot more.
Yeah, that's an interesting prediction, and I totally agree.
Yeah, maybe more so than whether or not we have a lot of... whether single issues survive or whether we go full on into... Because, I mean, it really is, like, for over the past 20 years, it's gone from... Size has gone from, this to trade paperback to this, and omnis. And so, like, soon enough, like, you're going to buy a library catalog that's this big, and you just read all of it like that.
Will, just hitting on what Will pointed out. Yeah, there were questions of trades not being around before the mid '90s.
Right.
Exactly. Like they didn't exist, so that was the only way you could collect comics. And now we're just seeing such an interesting evolution of these nice, beautiful hardcovers, and that has to do with like the average age of the comic reader getting older, and people have more money, and the way the market changes and things like that. But interestingly enough,
it's parallel to how the video game market has changed in 20 years.
It totally is.
So much more is marketed towards people in their late 20s and early 30s. Like that's who we are the target.
Interestingly enough, today I saw an announcement. I don't know how long it's been there. You guys probably know more than me, but I don't know if it's new today. But Mark Millar, Netflix bought his entire production company for a ton of money, and they announced today that there's a new comic series that Netflix is putting out. And I just found myself thinking, what if Netflix actually got into comics?
Yeah.
What if they started producing comics as a way to create storylines and products to fund their TV shows, as somewhat like Marvel has done and DC has done with their shows and movies division? What if Netflix started doing that? What if we got to see another major player enter the comic market? And how would that just totally shake things up? If someone like Netflix started producing actual original comics.
Yep. I mean, you had, iTunes is what ushered in, Apple and iTunes is what ushered in, digital music.
Yeah.
But then
Napster, remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. Is what really did, people stopped buying CDs and they started downloading on iTunes, and then all of a sudden, things like Spotify come around, and suddenly we aren't buying anything anymore. We're just streaming it all. That's what we're getting towards, and I really feel like the direction that we're going to see in the comic industry as well is going to shift more towards other players outside of the big two of Marvel and DC. We're going to see. I think my theory is we're going to see more of a shift in power into independence, into something else like Netflix, or I mean, nothing's stopping Amazon from doing that. I mean, they're Amazon. They do literally anything they want. They own grocery stores now. It was a bookstore. You bought books off of it like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And now they own your grocery store. Unbelievable. So that's what I think the trend is going to go. I think the trend is not going to be so much what format it is.
Yeah.
I think the trend is going to completely change in who's even producing it.
Interesting. I'm very excited and interested to see. Fernando says that the comics have more balance now, and I totally agree. You're seeing a little bit of mix of everything. Some long arcs, some short arcs, some crossover arcs, and I totally agree with that. And
Will's still on fire in the comments, and absolutely right.
Binging is so huge.
Like I just started working at a school in town. And this is where I think it's not so much an adult thing anymore either. Because all of these high school students, I mean, for the past 2 weeks, no matter where I go in the hallways, every single student is going, hey, have you watched Stranger Things yet? Have you watched Stranger Things? Have you watched Stranger Things? That's literally all I've heard. No one has made a comment about anything else going on at the school. Yeah. No one has made a comment about it. The only words...
But have you heard hey man, did you see last night's Big Bang Theory? No. Or, hey man, did you see last night's, I don't even know what show, Modern Family or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Did you watch last night's Goose in the CW? If anyone watches Great News, that joke had me cracking up in the most recent episode.
But I think that's interesting. I think it's better for the consumer. I think
it's a consumer market right now.
Yeah, and binge-worthy content, binging content, I'm always a fan of. Now, I watch The Gifted. I'm a few episodes behind. Fernando and I talk about it every week. It's a really great show.
So you haven't talked to Fernando in a few weeks.
I know, it's really horrible. Man. I know. I'm upset about it. Okay, this is getting uncomfortable for everybody.
Just you.
But, I think that bingeable content to me is infinitely more enjoyable. I'd rather have everything right now and read it all at once, which is to me the allure of the omnibus and the collected editions. That's exactly why I don't buy single issues. It's because I don't want to read from month to month.
More like Brian Michael binge this, am I right?
Wow, you have been waiting to say that for 30 seconds.
Just then, it just happened. When you said binge.
Wow. I would like to see I like the idea that the Marvel app has, Marvel Unlimited, where you can read a bunch of comics at once. I'd like to see DC copy that and Netflix pioneer something for everybody. Anyway, that's a great question, Louis.
It's huge. It really, it's amazing how that one shift today has really, you can see where the entire industry is shifting around and all that. It's great. It's great. I mean, that's the basis of what makes industries good. I mean, you have to have some sort of competition there.
M. Scott binges his shows every week on Saturdays.
Oh, that's a good... I need to do that.
I need
to do that. That's a good idea. But that's going to segue into... it's not what we had on the next point on our outline when we wrote up our show outline. Because, yes, we are organized.
We're so professional.
Mom. But we're going to skip real quick to this news that came out. It's kind of a rumor more than anything else. But it's got a lot of traction, it seems, about... if competition's what makes the industry good and healthy in the free market economy, then this is the opposite of that. Disney is trying to buy 21st Century Fox, is the report coming out. I mean, an absolute power move by Disney.
Oh my gosh.
If this is as true as it seems that they're trying to do this to solve their copyright issues, I mean, it really is like, we try to negotiate. You know what? We've got all this money. We'll just
buy it.
Like hostile takeover type thing. That's crazy to me. If this is true, if this does have traction, this could possibly happen.
Let's put on hold the fact that nobody knows if the government will allow it. Because the government can always step in. They've done that multiple times and just said, no, mergers can't happen.
No attack on Louis. My mom did not dislike the video due to poor organization. She's too busy probably watching NCIS or some other...
or some variation of NCIS. NCIS Los Angeles,
New Orleans,
New York,
some other
Minnesota.
Parent TV show right now,
Yeah.
She'd tell you she doesn't care.
But it is... I don't know how I feel about it. I was initially excited at the thought of Marvel having everything back under one roof. But competition I enjoy. I think it's good. More competition, better the product's going to be for us.
Yeah.
B...
NCIS Disney.
NCIS Disney. B... I wonder if... Well, what do you think? Before I finish that thought, what do you think about it? The idea of Disney and Marvel buying up.
Scott brought up that, there's supposedly, it's for Futurama, right? So, I'm sure.
Can't argue that.
Yeah. One of my favorite shows of all time, Futurama. It's... I don't know. Because, let's be honest... As far as entertainment goes, it could really open up the door to a lot of good stuff. Yeah. It could open up the door to...
Deadpool on the Avengers.
I know you're a big Deadpool fan. Exactly. I love it.
We could finally get that Elektra Spider-Man spinoff we've been dying for. Everyone wants it.
We could see that sort of stuff happen. We could see, instead of, a movie, we could see them partner up and try to make an X-Men series that's streamable, in the vein of Daredevil, Punisher, all of that sort of stuff. We could see some good content there if you're a fan of Marvel Studios, which is a crucial thing here.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with my comment.
Yeah, as far as a business perspective goes, I mean, it's kind of a cheap thing to do. To just buy them out like that. But it's
also kind of a no-brainer from a business perspective.
At the same time, they've tried to play ball with 21st Century Fox and haven't always gotten anywhere with it. So
assuming the dollars work out. Let's assume for a second that it's a good deal for Marvel and Disney and they want to do it and Fox wants to do it. So much stuff.
There's a lot of assumption going into any of this. All right.
But let's just assume for a second that it's a smart financial move for Disney. They're also launching their own streamable service, remember? It's right around the corner, and they're going to pull their Netflix shows or all their content off of Netflix and put it on their thing. So when they announced it, I thought, are they going to have enough to stream on there? Like, are they going to have enough to produce content? Because Netflix is blowing up right now.
Yep.
This could be partially motivated by the idea of trying to populate that with a lot of content.
Absolutely. With Futurama.
Yeah, Futurama.
That's it. Just Futurama.
To take some of that market share from Netflix. So one, that's a possibility.
Here's an important question. If there was a streaming service that you paid a monthly fee for.
There is. It's called Netflix.
And all that it had was Futurama, would you subscribe to it?
Yeah. Okay. Obviously.
Yeah.
I'd pay all my Bitcoins for it.
Yeah.
A lot.
I think the only show that I watch week to week, Scott, going back to this, is Freaks and Geeks. I watch it every week.
So good.
I just watch, the 10 episodes, and then I get done and I watch it. What if I actually did that? What if once a week I watched one episode
Then you'd be me in Arrested Development.
Ah, there you go. Or us and Orange County.
That's so good.
The movie Orange County in high school. We
watched it 14 days in a row.
Yeah.
Because it was so mediocrely good that we had to.
Was it only 14? It really felt like it was closer to a full month.
It did. A good Fantastic Four movie. I mean, yeah, the possibilities of content, of quality content, Marvel Studios is amazing. I mean, whether or not it's your style of entertainment, you have to admit, they produce some real good quality content that's consistent. And it's consistently enjoyable by a lot of people. Now... And this gets more. We haven't seen Thor, so no Thor spoilers, please. But
Thorliers, as we call them.
No Thorlers, please. But I think that the Marvel Disney stuff I enjoy, but the more they lean into comedy, because that's really what a lot of their movies are like. Action comedies. It's almost like a split down the middle, half and half.
And they seem to be getting much more so because. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was very comedic. Spider-Man had a lot of comedy. It was a little bit more serious, but it still had a lot of the wit and everything.
Really, since Guardians 1, every movie has gotten consistently funnier and funnier.
And then from everything I've heard, Thor Ragnarok is like
the funniest.
A comedy, basically,
and so,
with superheroes.
While I enjoy that, I don't want that to be the only type of superhero movie I can consume. Like, I enjoy and like... I don't think that Fox has always done well with their X-Men movies.
No.
But I enjoy the tone and the way they do those movies. I'd hate to see that style of superhero movie just get completely lost and all combined into humor all the time.
Once again, Will's saying the same thing. Like Deadpool would never be made by Disney. It just wouldn't.
Yeah, that's so true. Deadpool would never be made by Disney.
Old Man Logan would never be made.
No,
or just Logan as it's action.
Okay, I agree. Will it's safe and designed to make money and it's predictable.
It is, and this is a money move. If they go and purchase another studio, it's a money move. It's because they want to what you said, populate their streaming service with more Fox stuff and have more to offer. Because there's a lot of Fox stuff that you can't even get on Netflix anymore. Because they had fallen apart in negotiations. So
I look like a guy who will enjoy the new Thor movie. That is a huge compliment. And I am very excited about the new Thor movie.
Yeah.
I've heard it's amazing, and I have very high expectations for it. Expect a full review.
If we weren't doing the show tonight, my wife and I were going to go see Thor. So
expect a full review.
She is mad.
She's so mad, dude. She's right there. Mad as a hornet.
She's staring. Like, the production team had to, hold her back because she was about to storm over
So
here.
mad.
So mad.
So mad. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't want that to be the only type of superhero movie I can get.
Yes.
And I
agree. It's a monopoly.
And you can tell, Disney keeps it real straight-laced. And that's nice. I appreciate that family quality content, but we would never get a Deadpool or an Old Man Logan with Disney. Mm-hmm. Totally agree, Will. On point.
We wouldn't at all.
Very on point.
Yeah, and from that perspective as well, I mean, you end up with the same style of thing for everything that gets put out. You got to have some variety in life. You have to have variety.
All that being said, come on, who doesn't want to see Hugh Jackman suit up with the Avengers? Get him back in gear. That'd be fantastic. Who doesn't want to see the X-Men and Spider-Man in the same movie or Fantastic Four be good?
I would pay money to see Hugh Jackman beat up Robert Downey Jr.
And
not even in a movie.
I'd throw money at that so fast.
If it was a pay-per-view and then you just threw them in an octagon.
Yeah. I'd totally pay for it. For the kids. It's a celebrity.
Yeah,
kids.
I'd at least go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch it
for sure. BW. That's where we went today, actually.
Pay the cover. We ate lunch there.
It was good.
There was no cover at lunch.
No, there was not.
Anyway, That being said, we should probably hit on some of the other movie news that came out in the past couple of days.
Yep.
On the reverse side, going back to DC, and of course that's the Justice League, which is coming out in just a week.
Are you guys excited about Justice League? Are you excited about Justice League?
I am.
I wish I was more excited about it than I am.
Yeah, I'm not super excited, but I'm excited.
I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
I'm not overly hyped for it.
You're not lit, fam?
I'm not yet lit fam for it. I can tell you that much right now.
What did you say right then? I got so many questions about that sentence.
I ain't get lit fam for it.
Like, I want to go ahead and diagram that sentence and just try to figure out how many... no, I'm excited. Anyway, the news that came out was that the runtime is, I think, an hour 59 minutes.
Yeah, that they cut the original cut, which was significantly longer.
7.5 hours.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm. It was pushing Lawrence of Arabia.
I do remember.
Lawrence of Arabia takes a weekend to watch, if I remember correctly.
They released it. It had a really long runtime, and I can't remember what the runtime was. It was supposed to be really long, and now that they've come back and...
Fernando, I think the only Disney company that does anything R-rated is ESPN.
Yeah, I've seen First Take. It's real rough.
Skip Bayless.
How about them Cowboys? That was a horrible Skip Bayless impression.
No, were you trying to do Stephen A?
Stephen A? Yes, Skip Bayless isn't even on there anymore. He's on Undisputed. He's on Undisputed now. Yeah, Shannon Sharp, who is a national treasure. I love Shannon Sharp.
All right, I'm going to attempt a Stephen A.
Okay.
Here we go. My close friend, LeBron James.
I got a text right now.
Right now. It's hurting my throat. Should have had a water bottle here.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah, I'm excited about Justice League, but I'm very interested in the fact that they cut it down. Yeah. And apparently we're very deliberate about we're making this shorter. Especially considering, I don't remember the runtime on Thor, but I heard it's long.
Yeah. I always get nervous when studios insert themselves into movies after they've already been finished. Especially DC movies, because... they notoriously screw them up. Like, Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman, said that the most important Wonder Woman scene, which was her walking through the battlefield, the executives of the studio came to her and they were like, you need to take this out. And she was like, no, we will not take it out. And they kept it in. So,
Ragnarok only had a 2 hour, 10 minutes. So never mind, it was not long.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So everyone's kind of, well, not everyone, but Will and Carlos kind of seem to feel how I feel, which is just kind of like, it'll be cool to see. I want to see
Peter
it.
Frampton.
I know.
Feeling like you feel.
Yeah, let me get my synthesizer out.
It's a deep cut.
That was a deep cut, dude. That was an impressive deep cut.
Thank you. I have it on vinyl.
For
all you vinyl collectors, I have a not for resale radio station distributed copy.
Those are actually pretty valuable, aren't they? The not for resale ones, or are they harder to come by, right?
They're harder to come by, and I just stumbled upon it, really. It was given to me, which is pretty cool. Value-wise, I don't know if it's super valuable, but it was like a promotional copy given to a radio station, not for resale.
The not for resale used video games are insanely expensive. They're so valuable.
Oh,
yeah. Here's why I want it to do well. I'm not a Scott Snyder fan at all. I haven't really liked anything he's done since 300.
Snyder.
I'm sorry, I said Scott Snyder. I'm a huge Scott Snyder fan. Why are their names so similar? Same last name.
Who's Scott Snyder?
He's the guy who wrote Batman.
Okay.
But
all of it, just all of Batman.
Every Batman do all thing of them? That's ever come out.
Wow.
I feel really bad for Zack Snyder.
Oh, sure.
Because of the family situation that he had going on there, and they brought in Joss Whedon, who I also like. And so from that standpoint, I really want it to do well. I enjoyed Wonder Woman, but I agree with you, Will, that the Batman vs. Superman hype was a lot higher than this. I think that honestly will probably make me enjoy it more. I don't know.
It will. I think it absolutely will. Because, what happened for all of us is Batman vs. Superman hype was here. The movie was here.
Yeah, and then we ended up here.
And so we viewed it as being, here, And so... I think the fact that everyone's going into it with tempered expectations.
It's gonna come out.
I think that's what happened with Wonder Woman. Honestly, we went into it a little bit more nervous. Like, are they finally going to do it? Right? Yeah. Are they going to do a DC movie right? Are they?
They had the worst Chris.
Out of the three, you think?
The four.
Who's the fourth?
Hemsworth, Pine, Evans, and
Tucker. Yeah. So
no,
Rock, Chris Rock. My bad.
No,
Chris Paul of the Houston Rockets. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is
Andy from The Office.
I know it. It's Chris Pratt. I'm just
Pratt,
messing
there
with
we
you.
go.
Jeez, let me have my fun.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't remember. It was really bothering me. It was really eating me up.
Yeah, for some reason, Hemsworth is actually the one I forgot. Even though someone mentioned Chris Hemsworth by name, Thorkin, whatever. I'm an idiot. So, the fact, the point of all this being that expectations go a long way. And probably the best thing I ever did, I ever learned in my life was to go into movies or anything with as... not low expectations, but with as little expectation as possible.
Yeah.
Just not really expecting anything and just trying to investigate it and be like, okay, what are they going to do here?
That's why I enjoyed Superman Returns way more than Man of Steel.
Okay.
Because I went into Superman Returns, everyone said it was terrible, and I was like, that was pretty good, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I went into Man of Steel, everyone said it was awesome, and I was like, oh yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Chris from The Office. Okay.
Chris Traeger. That's it.
Rank the Chris's right now.
Rate the Chris's.
Like, rank them.
Yeah, rank
You
them.
at home, rank the Chris's. Of the 4 famous Chris's, Evans, Pine, Pratt, and Hemsworth, who's the best to the worst?
Hemsworth best. No, I'm sorry. Pratt best, Hemsworth second.
Don't let me down here. You're
No, I'm going to let you down. Chris Pine third because he's the prettiest out of all of them. That's right, I'm saying it.
Oh, he's not the prettiest.
Yeah, he absolutely is.
Prettier than Chris Hemsworth?
Yeah, it's those eyes.
Seriously?
Have you looked into Chris Pine's eyes?
Yes, and then I looked into Chris Hemsworth and was like, peace, Pine.
Whatever.
Okay, so Hemsworth is the worst out of all of them for you.
And Evans is
Or
fourth.
Evans is the worst. That's right.
But the thing is, I want Evans to be up higher, but I remember too much of Chris Evans' like early history.
Pre-Captain America.
Where he was kind of like he's kind of like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
He's like a Ryan Reynolds.
He was
almost.
in Fantastic Four. And in Not Another Teen Movie.
Not Another Teen Movie. That's,
Is that what you're remembering?
I remember that. And I'm not a Ryan Reynolds fan. He annoys me a lot as an actor. So, I know.
That hurts.
So younger Chris Evans. But then again, there's also like Snowpiercer, and I like Snowpiercer, and Chris Evans was great in that. So, in my heart, all 4 of them are equal. So shut up.
We were close on the list. To flip Pine is the worst. Pine is the worst, Chris.
Okay.
But we were real close. As long as you really agree that Chris Pratt is the best,
right.
That's all that really matters.
Pine just has those pretty eyes, and I respect that.
Okay.
You can't teach eyes.
Look at M. Scotter.
He's such a cad.
You're so sneaky. Sneaky.
Cellular's actually pretty good. I wouldn't know. Who's in it? Someone tell me. I'm not Googling it.
Evans.
Chris Reynolds.
A
strange, demented hybrid. What was I talking about?
I have no
anyway,
idea.
Justice League's going to be shorter. I go into movies with little expectations.
That's good.
And I think an important thing here is that they had to have learned what they did right with Wonder Woman.
Oh, I hope so.
You know,
You have more faith in them than I do.
And
I'm afraid they just were like, Batman vs. Superman made a bunch of money. Let's just do that. Times 2. I don't know.
You know, there was... You know, I'm not even going to say it because everyone's going to ridicule me, but I'll go ahead and say I didn't hate Batman vs. Superman. It was a deeply flawed movie.
Yeah,
but it was not a movie that I hated.
It was a 4 out of 10 for me. Wasn't a 1 out of 10.
For me, I mean, you cut Jesse Eisenberg out of it.
Oh, he was the worst part by far.
And it's, you know...
It's mediocre. You cut Jesse Eisenberg out, it's mediocre.
If you cut him out of it, it's better than average.
Oh.
But, okay. Fernando says that Ragnarok makes him almost bump Hemsworth up to second.
He's second for me.
I'm just putting him second because of the accent.
He does have a good accent.
So were you trying to go off of like talent and everything?
No, just overall. Everything.
Okay.
The whole package, man.
Yeah. That's pretty much why I put Pine higher, because no talent but eyes.
Yeah. Okay. He's got it all. Well, I'll be interested to see how we all feel about Justice League afterwards.
Good assessment there. Deeply flawed movie about deeply flawed individuals. Yeah, that's what they're trying to get at. And that's why, like, to me, the opening scene of Batfleck driving around the city as he's just Bruce Fleck at that point. Driving around the city as it's being destroyed and dealing with all, like, you actually see the severity.
I thought it was fantastic intro.
That scene...
One of the best cinematic intros I've seen.
Yeah, I loved that, especially in a superhero movie. I loved that
very
point.
Good.
And so that's why I think that there's a lot in that movie that I really like. I honestly think that
Raleigh, what's up, man?
Oh, there he is. There's a lot in that movie that I like a lot more than Captain America: Civil War, because they tried to cover the same themes, and Civil War just kind of didn't really get into any of it.
See, I felt like Civil War did it better than Batman vs. Superman.
And I don't at all. Batman vs. Superman covered the severity of what happened better than Captain America: Civil War. I agree.
I meant more the reason for the heroes fighting. I felt like was more fleshed out in Civil War. I felt like the Sokovia Accords was a more natural reason for them to fight than Jesse Eisenberg being like, "You go kill him. I manipulate you. I'm the Joker, Lex Luthor."
Yeah, oh my god, I don't even want to talk about Jesse Eisenberg.
But I agree, the severity was definitely like the destruction and everything from Man of Steel, which I thought was clever on DC's part, because Man of Steel had so much destruction, that was its biggest complaint. People were like, "Oh man, that Superman movie killed a bunch of people."
Because what changed, Tony Stark's mind in Civil War? Part of a building blows up and there's civilians involved, as if there haven't been civilians already.
Yeah.
But
it was the lady.
One woman comes up and says, "This is my son. He's dead because of you."
And interestingly enough, she's the villain for Luke Cage.
Right, exactly.
It's like, dang, dude, she manipulating you, man.
So I mean, you do that, but in the other way around, it's Batman actually watches Superman level a city and decides this man's too powerful and I need to fight him. And I think they did some of that pretty well. All right, all that being said, one of my major points here is that I still also believe that Wonder Woman I enjoyed more than a lot of Marvel movies.
Yeah, we actually, when Wonder Woman came out, we ranked
that.
What movies we felt were better or worse.
Yeah.
And I agree. It was better than about half the Marvel movies for me.
And I say it was better than 75% of them, and because of that, that's why I think, not that I'm optimistic about or super excited about Justice League, but that's why, I think, okay, if they learned anything, this will be fine.
Man. I'm expecting it to be about
Marvel,
an 8 out of 10.
Everyone.
I'm expecting it to kind of fall on Rotten Tomatoes the 8 out of 10, maybe upper 70s, low 80s.
Okay. Now that would
guess.
But that would constitute pretty good, right?
Yeah, pretty good. Not like the best movie, but not that bad. That's kind of where I'm expecting it to fall. I don't know. What do you guys think? You expecting it to be good, bad? Kind of know your excitement level. That's good. I mean, I think if anything, I can say this. I'm glad that Disney does not also own DC. Even though their cinematic universe comparatively has not been that great, at least in my opinion, compared to Marvel's, I'm glad they're not doing the same thing Marvel's doing.
Raleigh just made the same point that you made when Wonder Woman first came out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Guy named Steven and playing a world. Absolutely.
Yeah. I said it was my favorite of the Captain America. It was Captain America 4 is what I kept calling it.
Yep. And I liked it a lot more than the first Captain America because the first Captain America I forgot almost instantly.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers for Wonder Woman, by the way, because we're about to talk just briefly about that. But yeah, I mean, the similarities, come on. Stars and Stripes, a world war, a guy saves the day by taking a plane and having it explode. His name is the same.
Scott
Love interest from the 40s that goes unresolved. Come on.
Yeah. Scott says that Wonder Woman has better bookends than The Force Awakens. I assume that's what he's talking about, right?
Oh, I read that as TSA, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, okay.
But what does the airport have to do with anything?
I'm kidding. It's the first adventure. Yeah. But anyway, all that being said, I'm not saying. Yeah. At this point, I think I'm starting to become a little bit more, not cynical, but a little bit more critical
of Marvel.
No, just about movies in general, because there's not a lot of them that when I watch it, I just, am blown away by quite as much as when it used to be. It's a lot more that I watch, and I'm like, yeah, all right, that was pretty good. Here's the things that got wrong, and I can live with that.
Interesting.
So I don't get my hopes up nearly as much about movies as I did. And there's a part of that I think is because of this massive influx of superhero stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it. But that's just me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well.
Cap, Winter Soldier's the king. See, Raleigh jumps in and doesn't miss a beat. Yeah,
totally agree. Winter Soldier's is still in my top 5 favorite Marvel. Top 3 still favorite Marvel.
Yeah, I was going to say it's top 3 for me.
I mean, it's an incredible film.
Yep.
And it was The Force Awakens.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to disagree with you.
Oh, man. Beto, you're rubbing it in because I wanted that Force Awakens Portal soundtrack. And
Force Awakens Portal soundtrack. Yeah.
And I totally forgot because you went to MondoCon. They're going to put up a Mondo site. It's okay. I can live with that.
Yeah. So the question that we always want to ask, anytime that we're talking about movies.
Yep.
It's, if there's a trailer, it's what's your impression of it.
Yeah.
Or are you excited about it? So we've answered that here. Both of us for Justice League.
A little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
On a scale of 1 to bloop, I'm at like I'll probably enjoy it.
Yeah, right. Because probably ultimately my wife's going to be like, I liked Wonder Woman a lot. Let's go see this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, okay.
All right.
You buy popcorn
Let's
for
do
me.
it. Let's do it.
Give me popcorn. I'll watch just about anything.
Will wants to know what's our favorite film of the year so far.
I'm going to have to pull up a list of what's come out this year.
It's been long.
To make sure that I don't get anything confused. Because
I really liked Logan.
I do have a tendency, like if you ask me what's your favorite film of the year, I'm going to be like, oh yeah, Birdman, totally. And then I'll be like, wait a second, that was like 5 years ago.
That wasn't this year.
So, I'm really bad with dates.
Oh, awesome, Beto. Thank you. The Portal vinyl is on sale tomorrow. I need to make a note to remember that because I want that vinyl so bad.
Trailer for Punisher, fully agreed. We actually did an episode talking about that.
We did. It was good. Yeah, I really liked Logan. That might be my favorite film of the year.
That was this year or was that last year?
That was this year.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to...
It was good. I'm not a huge movie buff, though. Like, I don't watch a lot of the movies that win a bunch of awards.
Yeah.
So.
I'm trying to remember what I've watched. Thor Ragnarok is listed as a comedy when you Google
Is it
2017
really?
movies. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, dog. That is crazy. Think about that. That is nuts.
Oh, man.
Trailer for Punisher might be the best of the year. I was all over that trailer. The first time I watched it, I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I saw it again and was like, what?
Oh, you know what? I'll tell you what I've enjoyed most out that I've seen.
Fast and the Furious.
Fast and the Furious. Dark Side of the Moon. That was what it's called, right? No, The Big Sick. The Big Sick is the one that I've enjoyed the most this year. But that's kind of my style. That should help maybe frame my taste in movies a little bit more for you guys. I really enjoy those. Not Judd Apatow necessarily, but I really enjoyed those
style
kind of realistic comedies.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies of all time is a movie called Up in the Air. I don't know if anyone has seen it.
One of my favorite movies of the year that I felt like let me down in theaters, but the more I've contemplated, the more I enjoyed it was Baby Driver. Great soundtrack. I think it's interesting that it's listed as music under this list. That was very interesting.
Yep.
What is y'all's favorite movie of the year? M. Scott, yeah, there you go, Baby Driver. I mean, it's definitely in the running for me.
So there you go. Well, it has been about an hour. We do need to probably start wrapping things up now.
Yeah, it was a fun show, though.
It was a good show.
It's good to get back in here and do it. Yeah, thank y'all for joining the live chat.
Thanks for putting up with the lower quality and all
the
the
delay
technical issues.
Of the stream. My goodness.
I missed Big Sick in theaters also, but I mean, it's one of those that it doesn't really have to be seen in a theater.
Yeah.
There's nothing big, fancy, all that.
I want to give a quick shout out to
it.
Will also. Like, I'm sure everyone in the chat already has subscribed to his channel, but if you're not, Nerd Ventures on YouTube, look it up and subscribe.
Sweet.
He's got an awesome channel. Blade Runner was his favorite movie.
Nice.
We wouldn't know. We wouldn't know.
Unbelievable. Because I love Blade Runner.
You love it so much your voice cracked. You were like, I love Blade Runner.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I have friends that I'm just kind of like out of nowhere. I'm like, hey, by the way, can I tell you about my Lord and Savior Blade Runner?
And I'm like, what is Blade Runner? Because I've never seen it.
Watch Speed Racer. All right, I'm on it. Let's go right now.
We're going now.
Just a reminder, last week in November, we'll pick a day that works for everybody.
For Flash Rebirth.
Flash Rebirth, SSD Book Club Part 2. That's going to be a video where we get together, we read through that storyline. Or not read through.
I'm like, that's going to take a while.
We've already read it. But we come together and talk about it.
Yeah.
And you complimented Will so much. And then he says he hasn't
made a video in 8 months. Dude, your channel's fantastic.
Hey, welcome to SSD, where we haven't made a video in
We haven't made a video in so long.
But anyway, book club last week in November. We will discuss all together what day works best for all of that. Nerd Venture podcast.
Ooh,
I'll do that with you, Will. I do podcast.
He's a podcast.
I do like 5 podcasts myself.
I don't even know how.
They're all about sports.
Podcast.
They're terrible. All right. just bad. Hey, keep an eye out for some of the upcoming videos that we're going to have on the channel. I'm making one dedicated to my love of the Dreamcast, which I'm really excited about. And Tyler, of course, is working on his top 5 favorite Spider-Man costumes.
Dude, it's so good. You're going to be blown away. You're going to be like, what? Those 5? Really? You sneaky man.
Hey, here's the thing. A while back we did a video, and I just thought about this. We did a video that was, Does It Hold Up Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, it was fun.
And we were going to do a giveaway where we gave away that Blu-ray copy of Spider-Man 2. And we never did. So if anyone wants that, just comment.
Say you want
just
it.
comment, and then I'll get in touch with you, and we'll just send you a Blu-ray.
Literally just say, I want the Blu-ray for Spider-Man 2.
I'll take the Spider-Man 2. It's not a special edition.
No.
It's just
it came
a Blu-ray.
from
Game Exchange. We bought it used.
It's not even in good condition.
No, it was in fine condition.
I mean, fine, exactly.
Fine.
Not very fine, and definitely not near mint.
When we get when we get the flow going again, we will get back into a lot more giveaways.
You got a lot of stuff to give away. We just gotta have to do stuff first. Go Rockets, yes. Mm-hmm. Totally agree, Raleigh.
And my heart breaks, Raleigh, for Deshaun Watson. I'm a huge fan of Deshaun Watson.
That sucked.
And hate to see that. But anyway, you guys are all champions. You're all the best people that I know.
Yeah, totally.
Because this is who I hang out with on a regular basis. So you can imagine the bar set low.
It's so
My
high.
expectations for movies are about here. My expectations for friendship, here.
It's so low. It's so low.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Follow us on all of our social media. Facebook.com/SuperSquadDLive. Instagram @SuperSquadDLive. Mm-hmm. Also, Twitch.tv SuperSquadD. We do some different video game live streams and whatnot on there.
Yeah, we do.
It's fun. And most of the time we do the show on there, but we didn't. So
I gotta go play Call of Duty. It's not go play itself.
Oh, that's very
Let's
true.
wrap this thing up.
All right. That has been XFL legend He Hate Me.
And that has been XFL legend Herschel Walker.
He wasn't in the XFL.
What was the NFL spinoff he was in?
the NFL spinoff. In a NFCS or something like that.
You don't even know.
Donald Trump killed it. In a USFL.
USFL. There we go.
USFL.
USFL star Herschel Walker.
This one's dedicated to you, Herschel, wherever you are.
We'll see you next time. We're here on Super Squad D.
We put up the wrong screen.
What's that now?
Wasn't the end screen. The producer made a mistake and put up the wrong screen.
The producer's not real.
The producer's talking. What are you talking about? All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
It was a great show. Peace.